This evening, let's explore sleep, control, and meditation. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi. This is the Lama you are looking for. Ah, such a Lama. This evening we could chant and meditate and enjoy a lesson or two, but first, if you love Star Wars and you wish to meditate as transformatively as General Leia Organa learned to do in the events following Star Trek Episode 6, be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell. Once again, this evening we could explore sleep, control, and meditation that you too could meditate like a Jedi. Folks, tonight is a special night. We have a celebrity amongst us. We have wrestling royalty amongst us tonight. All hail Sir Adam of Hayes. Always a pleasure to hang out with you, my friend. So, M on Reddit posted, so I've been practicing for a while. I've heard something like 20 minutes of meditation is equal to 4 hours of deep sleep. And I know meditation can't completely replace sleep, but hey, at least it could help me sleep less. I've been sleeping a lot after starting, so can you help me with some tips? My goal is to sleep 4 hours per day. It may sound insane, but I've heard many do that. All right, so before I get to I wrote a formal lesson, and it's waiting there, just off stage. But first, I'm going to just explore this with you. We live in an absurd world that is highly competitive, and people who want to do well, people who want to be able to just afford the minimum feel like they have to get a competitive edge, which is a tragedy because there is nothing sustainable about living from the fearful, competitive basement of our brain. If we are to thrive, no less survive, we must live from the seat of empathy, the anterior cingulate gyrus. Now, besides being a winning answer in Scrabble, it's the key to a fulfilling life. The key to moving from that place is to practice sadhana once every 12 hours, even if you do it just briefly for 15 minutes or so, which is better than nothing, much better than nothing. But training, even in a minimalistic sort of way, will help us to live from a place of loving, centered spontaneity. That might not make us the most powerful or the most wealthy, but it will give us a fulfilling life. Let's take a moment to jump ahead in my formal response and go to a bit of review. Whether you call it living from yang, living from patriarchy, or if you're a tantrika, living from the sun channel, it can result in us being rigid, fearful, controlling, elitist, and competitive. However, when we live from yin or matriarchy or our moon channel, we can be flexible, loving, laid-back, egalitarian, and cooperative. Let's focus on being laid-back versus being controlling. I've never met a controlling person who was deliriously happy and deeply peaceful. Have you? So there are very few remedies in Buddhism. They're very potent, but they're very few because they seem to work across the board. Of course, that reminds me of I think it was an MD who teaches whole food veganism. His name seems to elude me at the moment. McDougall, is that it? He once had an editor who wanted him to write a different diet for every physical malady. And he said to the editor that won't work because the diet that cures the malady malady A is the exact same diet that will cure malady B and prevent malady C. Similarly, in Buddhism, mindfulness and love and letting go are our panaceas or cure-alls. But it can be helpful to notice when we are being controlling. Not so that we beat ourselves about the head and shoulder with a whip like our pal Martin Luther did many moons ago. But so that we can see where we're tense and where we can let go. Ask a physician. They'll tell you skimping on sleep can harm you. Experiencing excessive sleep could be symptomatic of a larger order problem. That larger order problem won't be healed by obscuring the symptom, but by seeing a quality physician who can get to the bottom of things. Many people are enthusiastic about sleep yoga. Let's explore that from several facets. I'm going to start with probably the two sanest responses. The first one is what you do during your waking day. It's a contemplation that comes to us from the I'm going to paraphrase the 8 teachings on mind training. And the last stanza teaches us to regard all things as a dream, an illusion. And here's a simple way. We play with a rhetorical question. It's only 3 syllables on the in-breath and 3 syllables on the out-breath. So grab a piece of paper and a pen and jot this down. How could this be dream-like? As a rhetorical question, it's not our job to answer this question. It's our job to recite this question silently and mentally in harmony with our inhalation and our exhalation and our relaxation. Do this and you will make progress. The purpose of this goal, of this technique, is not to control our dreams, but to make it easier and easier to let go. It can be applied to painful things, to pleasurable things, and to neutral things, if there is such a thing. But what about the dream yoga that we use when we're actually in bed? Let's discuss the hypnagogic state. That's a fancy word invented by physicians. It talks about basically when you're drifting in and out of light sleep. Think about it this. Think about the last time you slept in. Maybe it was on a Saturday morning or a Sunday morning. And maybe you got up, padded down the hall, went potty, came back to bed. And, just drifting in and out of sleep, in and out of dreams. That's probably, according to the tradition of the 6 yogas of Naropa, that's the ideal time to practice dream yoga. And it's very simple. Our job is not to be controlling. Our job is not to choose what we see or feel or emote or think. Remember, controlling tendencies, indulging our controlling tendencies, is the antidote to peace, wisdom, joy, and love. So stay away from that. All the tantric techniques can fit into one of three categories: love and letting go, bliss and letting go, and awareness and letting go. The best application of dream yoga is not to try to control, not to practice love and letting go, not to practice, seeing circumstances as a paradise, feeling your body as the Adams, hearing conversation as mantra, thinking thought as wisdom. No. Any shithead can be happy when life is awesome. What separates the adults from the children is the ability to cope when life is a bucket of shit. The key to doing that is practicing awareness and letting go. For instance, notice this, relaxing, feeling this, relaxing, watching this, relaxing. You get the basic image. That, if you can, when you do that an hour twice a day, it's very easy to do that during hypnagogic sleep. Now, to set yourself the expectation of doing that all night, every night, is setting yourself up for failure. Let your body do what it needs to do, including, scrubbing the tissues of your mind through a healthy sleep cycle. But occasionally, you can develop the habit and this is worth exploring. Set aside at least one day a week and let your spouse know what's going on. Let your kids know what's going on. Good luck letting your dogs know what's going on. But set aside one day a week where you will sleep in. There will be no alarm, and you give yourself permission to, just enjoy slipping in and out of sleep until lying in bed is no longer pleasurable and you can't help but start the day. In his book, Free Will, Sam Harris explores that there comes a point when lying in bed becomes unbearable for whatever reason, and it requires a heroic effort to stay in bed. So we're not talking about that. When your bliss is getting up, then get up. Don't give yourself reasons. Don't tell yourself stories. Well, I have to get up and make breakfast because I'm super dad. Once you start saying because, you're telling yourself a story. Don't do that. The highest love is spontaneous and uncontrived. When it just feels right to get up, then get up and start your day. When it feels right to lay there, hovering between, drifting back and forth between wakefulness, light sleep, and superficial dreams, then do that. And whether those dreams are pleasurable or painful, hopeful or horrific, the response is the same. Watching this, relaxing. Watching this, relaxing. The highest outcome from doing this is not going to make you a master, a magician, but it will help you to deal with the vicissitudes that life throws at you. Now, some people, and I was one of them, wanted to be a master magician, wanted to be Neo from the Matrix, I'm going to do all of this magic. I want to fart lightning bolts. But being controlling is antithetical to peace and love. Everybody's played the fool. Everybody's been bossy, if not through verbal communication, then through nonverbal communication. Everyone's had controlling impulses in a relationship, whether it's a work relationship or a personal relationship, whether it's a platonic relationship or an intimate relationship. We've all had controlling impulses. And during our lives, we've each had moments where we've indulged those controlling impulses, and they never ended well, did they? So let us not abuse dream yoga to indulge our controlling tendencies. Au contraire, let us use dream yoga to get more and more comfortable with vulnerability and release. For that is what will serve us best in all circumstances. If you have any questions on this topic or any other topic, now would be a great time to type your question in great detail. You be as detailed as if you were talking to an idiot, for you very well may be. While waiting for a question, I think it could be great fun. Actually, to check the time. Let's check the time. Well, the time's getting away from us, so instead of doing additional chanting, let's go straight to tonight's practice text. We're going to tap button 9. This text is currently available for free download on the website. How cool is that? You know, before I do that, though, I think I would be remiss if before our chanting and contemplation and meditation, I think I should spend 52 seconds during doing housekeeping. Sing along with me. Every 12 hours, I broadcast a live meditation class without any ads. This channel supported by the generosity of viewers, just like you. With your help, this channel could come to support the next generation of nuns, monks, yogis, lamas, and even brick-and-mortar meditation centers, each replete with a resident teacher and their apprentice. If this speaks to you and you'd like to help out, even for as little as the cost of 1 cup of coffee a month, then poke around the description area below the video. There you can find 2 links, one for Patreon, one for PayPal. There also you can find 2 YouTube buttons, one marked with word join and one marked with a currency symbol. Click one of those bad boys and you'll be on your way to helping out the Buddha Joy Meditation School, if that speaks to you. If it doesn't, no worries. Okay, we're going to chant here now, not for good karma, just as a preparatory practice for tonight's contemplations and meditations. Let's begin by training in meditations, the loving motivation. May everyone be free from stress, may everyone be happy, may no one be separated from the happiness, may everyone have balance from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging freed. Namo Buddhaya Namo Dharmaya Namo Sanghaya, liberation for all. Namo Buddhaya Namo Dharmaya Namo Sanghaya, liberation for all. Namo Buddhaya Namo Dharmaya Namo Sanghaya, liberation for all. We come now to mantra contemplation, and mantra contemplation comes in the 3 portions. The third portion, that's going to be the wisdom of letting go. The second portion is going to be love. The first portion is additional preparatory practices. beginning with egalitarianism. Through the cause and effect of my practice of love and letting go, may he sentient being of each world know practice with me in unison. What is the meaning of the mantra? Om I invoke the benzo time and like strength of a subtle mind well trained in love and letting go, supplicating with whom may love and letting go be mastered by all. When my sister and I were in junior high together, there was a vice principal who would run around singing, "No, I'm not pleased." And my sister, being a laugh riot, learned to imitate her. One time we were on a camper trip, and my sister was asleep because she had been given codeine Tylenol because she was having very painful menstrual cramps. And she woke up, and being the comedic genius she is, she just whipped out that imitation, which I thought was hysterical. My mom didn't. But for some reason, that came to mind right now, and I wanted to share it with you. Happy memories are fun to share. What are we to do with this mantra? As we chant the mantra, I could feel as if diamond rays are emitting from me. Thumbnail size horizontal, successible mantra rosary at our heart, lavishing all man's communication, bodies, and circumstances with joyful wisdom, peaceful love, beautiful health, and safe good fortune. And here we go. We come now to the second third of our mantra work that is all about love, the love that gives. Our job here is not to choose what to emote. Our job is not to choose what to see or imagine or believe. Our job is simple. We're going to play with words silently and mentally to stimulate the neural pathways responsible for empathy. Let's begin by wishing that all minds of all beings were now as wise as a Buddha's mind of the wisdom of letting go, which can be symbolized by a one-syllable mantra such as this. It's very important to get the most from this. Now, that not only do we silently and mentally recite this intention during the inhalation, but that while chanting, we physically relax as best we can. Om Benza Sato Hung, Om Benza Sato Hung, Om Benza Sato Hung, Om Benza Sato Hung. Om Benza Sato Hung, Om Benza Sato Hung, Om Benza Sato Hung, Om Benza Sato Hung. This is part of our training in right aspiration, which is the second of 8 folds of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. Om Benza Sato Hung, Om Benza Sato Hung, Om Benza Sato Hung, Om Benza Sato Hung. Om Benza Sato Hung, Om Benza Sato Hung, Om Benza Sato Hung, Om Benza Sato Hung. Let us lovingly wish that all communication and its interpersonal consequences be as loving as that of a Buddha, symbolized by mantra. Om Benza Sato Hung, Om Benza Sato Hung, Om Benza Sato Hung, Om Benza Sato Hung. Om Benza Sato Hung, Om Benza Sato Hung, Om Benza Sato Hung, Om Benza Sato Hung. Om Benza Sato Hung, Om Benza Sato Hung, Om Benza Sato Hung, Om Benza Sato Hung. Om Benza Sato Hung, Om Benza Sato Hung, Om Benza Sato Hung, Om Benza Sato Hung. Let us lovingly wish that all bodies of all beings now enjoy the health that we see depicted in tantric art displaying archetypes of enlightenment known in Tibet as yidams. But what if this isn't magical? Hey, as long as it's training your intention to be loving, then it's profitable. Let us lovingly wish that all circumstances are now as fortunate as Buddha's mythical paradise, or Vati, or Pure Land, whichever synonym you prefer. As promised, we now turn to love and letting go. We're going to play with love and letting go for 8 exercises, 4 with mantra and 4 without. Instead of using intentions, we're going to use rhetorical questions. Now, a lot of people get confused on the subjects of emptiness or voidness, so we're going to begin by reviewing what that means, not literally, but figuratively. May I let go of all circumstances, bodies, communication, and minds, as if they were as non-graspable as a vast empty void, like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although tantalizing to the eye, could be not graspable to the hand. How is it that although we can see our circumstances as we physically relax into the mantra, they could, whether they are circumstances, whether they are fortunate or unfortunate, could feel as if they were as non-graspable as a real or imagined paradise comprised only of light. How is it that although we can feel our bodies as we breathe in, when we physically relax into the chant, these exact same bodies, whether they are beautiful or ugly or healthy or sick, could feel as if they were as non-graspable as an archetype of enlightenment comprised only of light? Why is it that we can hear our communication and its interpersonal consequences as we inhale, and yet as we relax into the mantra, the exact same communication, whether it is kind or cruel or eloquent or clunky, could feel as if it was as non-graspable as a real or imagined mantra comprised only of light. Why is it that as we inhale, we can clearly perceive mind's functions of perception, emotion, intention, reason, recall, and imagination, and yet, as we relax into the recitation of the mantra, this exact same mind could feel as if it was as non-graspable as a syllable ah, comprised only of light. As promised, our last 4 contemplations will be silent, or at least free of mantra. It has been said that the twin pillars of confusion are competitiveness and clinging. Therefore, we're going to figuratively contemplate interdependence and impermanence. How could all places blissfully melt into rainbow light that absorbs into this body? How could all bodies blissfully melt into rainbow light that absorbs into this communication? How could all speech blissfully melt into rainbow light that absorbs into this mind? How could all minds blissfully melt into rainbow light that absorbs into infinite emptiness? We are now going to slice through the duality of dread and desire. I should say the tyranny of dread and desire with two silent exercises. The first being the act of relaxing into the non-graspable nature of bliss. Feeling this relaxing. There are many people with many views on how to perform tantric meditations. Remember, the question is not whether their teachings are old or popular. The question is, when you try those teachings twice a day, every day for 7 consecutive days, does your peace and love increase or decrease? Beware of fools. Whoops, I guess I don't want to squander this. Un momento. Okay. Not all teachers are wise and loving. Some are cranky curmudgeons who will tell you that if your mind is restless, then you're just a coward. And those same guys will tell you that if you're tired, it's because you don't care about the Dharma and you're lazy. And that's what we call having shit for brains. If you're having trouble meditating, it may be a physiological need that's not being met, or a psychological need that's not being met. So there are a plethora of contemplative techniques. Find ones that work best for your body and the state that it's in at the moment you're trying to meditate. And if you're having trouble doing that, ask for a teacher's help. But don't just try to beat yourself up. That will not solve your problems. Guilt makes terrible motivation. The best motivation is love. If you don't feel like doing something, it's not necessarily because you don't have enough love. So please don't beat yourself up that way either. Is one's teacher a helper or a slave driver? If your teacher is someone you can come to with questions and their advice is helpful, great. But if you rely on your teacher's permission or quote unquote blessings, it's a mistake to think I'm only enlightened if my teacher says I'm enlightened. That's a mistake. Apply the teachings, notice the results, get help when you can, get help when you need it, but do not give away your own personal power.